always seems to go his way, and that's the part where you just scratch your head because it's like, no way, he's that lucky, is it? Like,
did you guys
can't
hate
be.
him? I mean, did you have like a real dislike? Did you despise the guy?
Some guys did. For me, I never did. I always respected him. I always loved the fact that, hey, I understand how hard it is to get to the top. I can only imagine how hard it is to stay at the top when I know how hard I'm training to catch you.
Yeah.
And
as a fellow 6th-round pick, you got to tip your cap to somebody like that, right?
And typically, up until you come across a Brady, most of the guys like me will tell you this: no matter how good a player has been, or no matter how dominant a team may seem, eventually we're going to catch up to them because we believe in ourselves. We think our ability is always to that level, and most of the time, it works out like that. Until it's a Brady, and you're like, man, what's your career record versus Tom Brady? Like, bro, 1-11, something ridiculous.
Yep.
And you're just like, how does that happen? But when you start going down the line of everybody that plays Brady for multiple times, a lot of people records sound just like that.
Yep.
And he's just one of those guys that you tip your cap to because it's like, man, for you to have the physical ability, that's one thing. But for you to also have the continued desire to mentally prepare the way that you are, because it's you don't have that type of sustained dominance without having both parts of it, without being just as much elite athlete as you are elite mentally. And for him, man, he was that perfect package.
So I never thought this day was going to come. I just figured he was just going to continue to play until, like, I didn't think that natural.
He said the NFL would stop before Brady stopped.
I didn't
playing.
think the natural order was going to take place. I figured I'd be dead before Brady stopped playing
football. I figured the
football.
NFL was going to retire. Just
the NFL was going to shut down.
Brady's still going. He's like, oh, I guess I don't have anywhere to throw anymore. I'll chill.
I'm pinching myself that we're actually talking about this today. I did picture or imagine that when we got to this point years ago, that it would be like that scene in Wizard of Oz where the house falls on the witch when Dorothy shows up in Oz, and the little munchkins come out and they start singing, ding dong, the witch is dead. And I'm thinking, like, yes, finally this guy, we don't have to worry about him anymore. He's out of it. He's gone. Sayonara, so long. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. But I really don't feel that way right now, man.
Because we didn't get that
ending. I kind of wanted him to play another year.
People wanted him to either look terrible out there or go down with a crazy injury.
Yes.
We know how this goes. But why, though? Why can't he just leave as a MVP finalist?
Or even he somehow wins an 8th Super Bowl, and then he says on the podium, I'm done. Some kind of closure to the whole thing. The Buccaneers had a game are scheduled to play in Pittsburgh in 2022. I thought that would have been really cool for him to come back one more time.
Give us flowers.
Yeah. No, you laugh at that, but like, I don't know. Something has come over me in the last couple of years with him where the hatred went from respect, and then it even morphed or evolved into, I kind of like this guy.
Well, I can understand that for you, but I do think there's still a good amount of people that
no doubt.
don't feel that way. So for him, why even give people the opportunity to make a public spectacle of themselves and try to boo you? Because that is something that they could do if they wanted to, hey, man, we're going to stick it to Brady one last time. He's been getting us. Let's boo him.
Yep.
It's like, yo, you're Brady. You don't have to give him that. The last time those people saw you in the stadium, you were kicking butt. You were still out there slaying people. And people are going to have to live with that. People are going to have to know that, hey, he walked away because he was just basically bored with kicking butt.
It is nuts that he's 44 years old and he's
an MVP finalist.
Yeah, he's not hanging on too long. In fact, he's leaving a year early.
Absolutely. Like, it's crazy. And you would just never expect that with Brady because up until this point, he's always been the madman. He's always been career over everything.
Yep.
Preparation over everything. The desire to play, the desire to win. What were you willing to sacrifice? He's Thanos. That's what we say there. It's like, he will sacrifice everything.
Yep.
To make sure that, in the end, the result is what it's supposed to be. But you just never think that it would change, that he would wake up one day and say, you know what? That's not my mentality anymore. Now my family's my focus. Now other endeavors are my focus. You just never expect it because for so long, that was what it always was. And he was so dominant.
Yep.
If you're coming off a bad season, even if it looked like how Ben looked, right? Or the Phillip Rivers type season, Eli Manning, his final seasons, it made sense. It's like, all right, we can see the diminished play. We can see the team, is having to make a decision in terms of money versus talent, something that we've never had to discuss before, but that's coming to play. But that wasn't the case with Brady. And that's why I think all of us are kind of shocked, like, whoa,
well, I love
really
that I love that he, on his own, divorced the Patriots. He got rid of them and not the other way around. Usually it's the team that says, we no longer want you. Get out of here. Turn in your playbook. Thanks for the memories. And he's like, you know what? I'm going to negotiate this deal where I leave and have free agency in my 40s. And then to do that to New England, to leave them high and dry, to take Gronkowski with him, and then win a Super Bowl. Like, the way he divorced the Patriots, I think, made him, to a degree, lovable for Steelers fans. I think I learned through that process that most of my disdain or dislike was directed more at Belichick and the Patriots than Brady himself. That the ultimate goon or villain to me was the guy in the hoodie and not the baby-faced quarterback.
I feel like you just, you realize that, hey, I can't beat this baby-faced quarterback, so let me start to like this baby-faced quarterback. And the disdain that I have for him, let me just put all that on Belichick, because we can beat Belichick. We can beat the Patriots. But that Brady guy, just doesn't pay to be, on his bad side. That's what it sounds like right now. Because he still is very much a part of all that. He was the one creating the moments on the field. We don't forget those moments.
Oh, no doubt. I think anybody who beats your team repeatedly, and
in the fashion, it wasn't like you're talking.
No, I know.
Like we're talking
Arthur.
Heart-wrenching. Like, just rip your soul out while your eyes are looking at your mom's crying, talking about, that's my baby. Like, okay, and he's like, I do this with a smile on his face. Like, that's what Brady does, man.
Oh, he was not, like, humble
not
about it. He wanted to rub your face in it like he did Anthony Smith in 2007. I think that whenever a team is that much better than everyone else in a league that is built for every team to go 8-8 and be average, like, you look for rationalizations and excuses and reasons to hate that team. And the Patriots gave you that opening with Spygate, right? Mm-hmm. And so I think that whole chapter in the Steelers-Patriots rivalry, I know that Brady and all the other players on that roster benefited from what Bill Belichick did.
Okay.
But it is what Bill Belichick did.
Yes.
Brady, I just refuse to believe that he knocked on Bill's door and said, I have a great idea. How about you have a bunch of your minions videotape the other team's sidelines? Now, I don't think he was aloof to it and oblivious to it.
Well, because I was going to say, that's the difference.
I think he's an accessory.
I was going to say, if you know, but accessory, you still do time for being an accessory.
Oh, yes, you do.
The driver, the driver is going to do the same amount of time as that guy that went into that restaurant with that.
I don't know if he's going to do the same amount of time.
He's going to get his time.
He's going to get an orange jumpsuit and a mugshot for sure.
They're going to have matching outfits.
Yeah. But I look at Belichick as the ultimate Steelers villain in that scenario.
Fair enough. But what about the years after that? Because when we talk Spygate, that's only accounting for...
That's only 01,
that's what I'm saying.
03, and 04. He won 3 Super Bowls in New England, and then he won an extra one in Tampa Bay after that. Yeah, so, I mean, are you one of these people that thinks that illegitimizes his...
Not at all. Just because... For me personally, I get the Spygate element of it. I understand the competitive advantage of that. And, yes, it did have
I don't think
impact.
Belichick does it if he isn't getting something out of it. Right?
But I also look at it like this. Obviously, I do think the filming of signals is crossing the line. Because now you can try to get a direct key. But I just think of the operation of everything. It still takes a lot to make it work. And I still feel like you still have your opportunities in that game. But as a whole, I mean, yes, is it against the law? I mean, or was it against the rules? Yes, it was. I don't know at the time, though, was it viewed as, hey, it's a hard line rule, or was the rule put in after the fact of recording walkthroughs and all these other things? I don't know all that information right now.
So they got a warning sent from them from the NFL that said stop doing it.
Because my thing is, if it wasn't already a rule, and people react to it after the fact, that's no different than when Belichick came up with the loophole about the timeout, not taking the penalties. You know what I'm talking about?
Well, yeah, of course.
Like that was
well, here's the thing. There was a rule, but there wasn't a set penalty.
Okay.
It wasn't like, if you do this, X, Y, and Z are going to happen to you.
Yes. So essentially, it was like the baseball situation that, hey, you could take steroids, you might be frowned upon, but you're going to make a ton of money and you're going to have crazy stats.
I think because it was unprecedented. I think the league knew that gamesmanship and things like, you look for signals and you try to decode it on your own.
Because I'm like, I know we do, and that was my biggest reasoning for not feeling all the way, this hard stance, get my pitchfork out, because I'm like, I know for a fact in all 3 of my locations,
we do that.
We do that.
Yeah.
The only difference was we didn't have your practice tape. But you are crazy if you don't think we're pulling up every TV copy, every audio copy, and we're trying to hear everything. We're watching people on the sidelines. Hey, what are you seeing? Okay, every time you see this guy hand signal that, what is showing up on the field?
Yep.
So we're all doing it in some fashion. And that's why for me, I'm just like, I get it that in terms of the walkthrough part, that part is different.
Well,
but
no doubt. And I think I'm a huge hypocrite if I say a week ago, Barry Bonds is the greatest hitter of all time. And then today I say everything about Tom Brady is illegitimized because of Spygate. Yeah. Well, why? Because they're two different sports? That's not cool. So
let me find out Pony in here dropping some Nas today, man. I like that right there.
You know what
man.
I'm trying to say?
I 100% agree with you, though. 100%.
Because to me, that's too parochial. Like, I sound like the ultimate homer and pom-pom waver if I say something like that. Like, I will confess that I wanted to look for reasons to not like the guy, and they gave us a pretty convenient way to try to tarnish everything that they did.
But you can't say everything. You could just talk about the first three.
No doubt. Well, and I have
he still got four more that we're talking, or five more.
I will make this admission as well. I think I totally got in my feelings over the deflated footballs thing because I wanted to believe that he was up to something nefarious again.
A lot of people did.
And then the science of it comes out, and then you find out that the Colts balls, because of the weather, were deflated too. And it's like, all right. But so
it was the witch hunt, though.
Well, it was trying to make. It was like the other owners thought you did not penalize this team enough for Spygate.
So now you get them on this time.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's exactly. They're on probation, so really throw the book at him now. So that's how I felt about that. I mean, he is without a doubt. It's statistically true. It's fact. He beat the Steelers more than any quarterback ever. And he wasn't even in their division. He beat the Steelers 12 times, including the playoffs. No other man in the history of the NFL beat the Steelers more than Tom Brady. There's one other quarterback who's tied with him. And it's like Rumpelstiltskin. I could give you 100 guesses, and you might still not get it.
I was about to say.
But once I say it, you're like, okay, that makes sense because they used to play more.
What team?
Houston, Tennessee. That'll give it away. It should.
Not McNair, right?
Yes.
Oh, serious?
Yep.
Oh,
because they used to play twice a year.
Okay. I was like, what?
When they were in the AFC Central.
Okay, that makes sense then.
Yep. That's it. They both have 12 wins, and he would get the Steelers twice a year.
Yeah. I didn't even think that. That's crazy.
I know, man.
But for those fans that are out there right now saying, man, he could have just been doing that to us. Trust me, he didn't just. I'm sure if we go down the list of teams,
the Bills' record against them is
like he's got to be up there even more than that.
He's got the highest win percentage of any quarterback against one team with the Patriots over the Bills.
I'm sure Brady's record against Buffalo is very similar to like Ben's record against Cleveland.
It is.
It's going to be almost identical, man.
I think Ben is third all-time in that. It's Brady against the Bills, 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then it might be – it's like somebody from way back when. It might be either like Bob Greasy against someone or Joe Montana against some team. And then it's Ben against the Browns.
That's crazy.
So it's weird that I'm in the mood to appreciate this guy when there are so many moments where I gave my television set the middle finger and said things that I can't say about the guy on this radio show
it's
right now.
It's even crazier because you didn't even appreciate Ben this much when he retired. And now for Brady,
don't do that to me.
Brady retires twice in 3 days, and now all of a sudden you giving him flowers. You doing the opening. You gave him more flowers. Like, jeez.
What if I just booked a bunch of guys? Today we're going to hear from players who suited up and won Super Bowls. Yeah, we're not going to do that.
It's all good,
heads
man.
up.
It's all good. I'm not judging you. If your love for Brady has surpassed your like for Ben, it's all good.
Okay, there's only one person who does this show who feels that way, and thankfully his kid has diarrhea today or whatever. He's potty training him. Did put the poll question out there over the weekend when it was reported that he was retiring, which, do you have a take on that? Some people think that it was like a front to Brady's career that Adam Schefter got out and didn't let the guy have his own retirement announcement.
No, to me, this is today's NFL. we're all racing to break the story.
Yeah, I think that's news in general. I don't think that's
whether
just
it's
sports.
an injury, whether it's a contract extension, whether it's a retirement, all of us go through it. All of us feel that, and all of us at one point in time in our careers have been burnt by a Shefty or a Rappaport or Jason Lockenford, anybody that's, releasing information before the person that's, it's their information gets that opportunity to control that narrative. So I just felt that when Shefty released it, Shefty was doing his job, and he had very credible sources.
And he had another reporter working with him on it too.
And that's why they doubled down on it even after the Bucks, after Tom Brady's dad, after his agent came out and said what they said. It was like, no, we're standing by this story because we know it's facts. For Brady, you're pissed off because you wanted to control that narrative. So you say, you know what, I'm still thinking about it. Even if it was 24 hours ago, I'm still thinking about it. But you had this thing typed up, ready to go, look perfect, formatted for every social media platform. So we knew you already had that. And it's like I said, I get it.
I feel like Brady is petty enough that he wants to find out who spilled the beans to those guys.
I think he will find out.
And he will cut that person out of his life for a long time. I could
easily see it because I know I would have similar feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, when it's big announcements, when it's stuff like this that's very sensitive and close to you and your family, you want to control that narrative,
You only get one retirement unless you're Bruce Arians or Dick LeBeau or Brett Favre, in which case you get many.
Very true.
Poll question, do Steelers fans still hate Tom Brady? Over 4,000 responses. 54% say no.
Why is it so close?
No. 54% say no.
That's tight, though.
It's water under one of the many bridges here that thankfully still work in Pittsburgh.
That's tight. That means if it's me and you in here, you might like him. I might still hate him.
Yeah, I know.
His odds aren't looking good right now.
We do a man on the street interview. We walk around downtown Pittsburgh. We get one out of every two people cursing his name, and the other's like, you know what? All that Botox and the hair plugs and stuff, this man's won me over.
He's not going to want to come back for Manny's now, man. Dang on. Be nice.
Well, now he can eat it. Now if he wants, he can get down with the Permanis. Permanis should send out a message to Tom.
A half a sandwich. He can't get the whole thing because it's 54% right now.